All right, Sherry Lilienfeld, give us more of an update. Just give a summary, the best way you can remember from last night, the November 6, 2025 Margate Commission meeting. What do you recall are the big topics? And just give us a quick rundown from last night, if you could.
Sure. Well, first of all, it was a very heated meeting. There was a lot of hot topics. I do want to say I'm very pleased that more people are showing up for the meetings because that is important. And we have been saying that it's really important to show up at the council meetings. Very disappointed that they were having technical issues with their Zoom, as I know you were, because you were texting me saying, what's going on? Like,
yeah.
Because you couldn't see. And they were working on it. It looked like they honestly were trying to fix what was going on.
You sure it wasn't one of those sabotage things like, oh, this is going to be a tough meeting, let's kind of mess things up? You saw them working hard trying to get it back online, right?
I did see them working hard. Now, could have been an act. I don't know. It did seem like they genuinely were trying to get Zoom on. Scott Abbott was not at the meeting. Our solicitor, he was on via Zoom. Somehow he was on, but I would have liked to hear from him on some of these topics. And some of the topics that came up, big topic, was Lisa, our CFO, who there's this pending lawsuit that was initiated by Pat Moran, our business administrator. There's a lot of supporters for Lisa. Lisa actually was there with her husband. She was sitting in the back, and the supporters were there, just really questioning, how you have a 22-year employee with an exemplary record, which she does, and how this happens. But anyway, Vaughn Reel was the main person who addressed council regarding that issue. That's a big topic. And there's Vaughn in your picture next to Pat Moran. Anyway, another thing that came up, which kind of surprised me, was the noise from the tequila bar. The police commissioner was there, and he was answering questions about how they show up and try to enforce the noise ordinance, which apparently people were saying, Roberts has to quiet down after 10. All these bars have to quiet down after 10, reduce their noise level, but tequila bars not complying. Again, I personally don't know. I don't have that experience. All I can tell you is what people were saying who were coming there. And I am surprised that this is still coming up.
Well, listen, it's a return to the Barbary Coast. You got to love it, right? Good thing we're 21 again, Sharon, we can appreciate it,
Well, the other part, that's true. The other part of it, they were talking about the trash. Now, I was at the planning meeting when the owners addressed the noise issue and the trash issue. Yet somehow these are still issues. They talked about they were going to have an enclosure for trash. They were going to have these like curtains that come down for the noise. Oh, so I think one of the things that came up was the police will come and tell them to quiet it down, and they'll quiet it down. And then the DJ blasts the sound up again. Anyway, so that was a big topic. Steve Baglivo was not at the meeting, which surprised me. Maybe he's in Florida. I know he does like to go to Florida. I don't know. Questions were asked about when this lawsuit is happening. That was towards the end. I think that's when the sound stopped happening. Alana was asked.
I kind of think that Mr. Baglivo, somebody just told me that he might be trying to delay the trial again. That's what somebody just told me. He's trying to extend and delay his trial versus Mr. Baglivo versus Margate and Mr. McLarnon. I think that's the way it is, right?
Yes. So there are a lot of questions about that. Lana was asking, is this happening? Is it getting delayed? Can we get this over with? Like what's going on? And the response was, it's not in our hands. It's up to the court system. Like the attorney who was sitting there for Scott Abbott was saying, like, because of COVID, the court system's all backed up, and everyone's like, COVID, like, are we still talking about that?
No, if I can, getting back to the attorney. So there was somebody that called out there's a fill-in attorney last night at the Margate Commission meeting, that meeting being November 6, 2025. But somebody said, hey, who's this new attorney, new solicitor sitting there? Well, it's a fill-in because Scott's not there. And even the mayor, Michael Collins, said, well, we like to have an attorney there, and it's not a big deal. But, when Mr. Abbott's not there, we want to have somebody there. But Mr. Abbott was there on the Zoom. So I don't know if anybody realizes that, but Mr. Abbott was there attending the meeting last night via Zoom, but they still had to bring a fill-in so they can have somebody sitting there. I don't get that part. A little confused by that, Cher.
That was confusing because he was available via Zoom. I mean, I've been to commissioner meetings where one of the commissioners was available on Zoom, and that was okay. They didn't have a fill-in commissioner. And Scott Abbott didn't answer anything, which there were so many opportunities where he, I think, should have added clarity to some of the questions, and we weren't getting that clarity. And I don't know if it was a technical thing that they couldn't get him to participate, or maybe they just had him listening, but he couldn't talk. I don't know. I mean, that wasn't clear to us. Another big thing that came up was Margate has an advisory council. So for those that don't know who the advisory council is, they are there to advise the mayor and commissioners of key issues for Margate. And there's 9 appointed people on the advisory council, 3 appointed from each member at the dais. You have Mayor Collins appoints 3 people. Commissioner Horn appoints 3 people, and Commissioner Blumberg. So it's 9 people, and there were people who come to the meetings that speak up a lot. They're like, why wasn't I asked? Why wasn't my resume thrown in the pot? How come I didn't know there were new positions opening? And Steve Altman, who runs the advisory council, said, look, I'm happy to send me your resumes. I'll talk to you, send them to me. But I guess the big theme was communication. That's not a surprise, right? Communication, and that people need to know what's going on. So the other big thing, and I think I kind of started this when I was asking questions after the engineer's report about the Washington Avenue project. Let's talk about that for a second. So for those who don't know, Washington Avenue Streetscape project is supposed to make Washington Avenue go one way, all the way from the beach to the bay. If you go to Wawa, part of it is one way, but they want to extend that. They want to redo the streets and add bike lanes and places to more lighting, and just make it more walkable. The thing is, people are like, well, I didn't really know about this. And I was talking to Steve Giesecke, who's the chair of the Margate Green team. And he is actually on that committee there is a committee for the streetscape. But he said this project has been going on for years. It has been going on. It was part of the master plan to make Margate have more like a little downtown where it's more walkable. But the reality is there's no stores up Washington Avenue. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. Yet somehow they're plowing ahead. No pun intended. They're moving ahead with this project. And you and I both know that it came up at a previous meeting that there was so much controversy over this that they were going to ask people what they think. Should it be one way or two way still? Should it maintain two-way traffic? And I thought they were going to survey people and find out what they think. And apparently that's not happening. That kind of surprised me. What, one way Washington?
It's all about you right now.
Oh, no, I don't want it to be all about me. I'm done. I'm done. So, yeah, what do you have to say about this, about transparency and communicating? I know you have an opinion on this.
All I know is that the city of Margate was doing a great job with their live Zoom feeds of their commission meetings. Then all of a sudden last night, it went bad. All of a sudden they couldn't get the video going. And then over time, the audio was starting to crap out. And that's very disappointing because they spent a lot of money on this system, and it really does work quite well. But for them on week number, on session number 3 or 4 to actually go backwards, that was an issue.
Yeah. And it took probably a year and a half for this to come around, right? I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time. So anyway, it was a very hot meeting. I hope they get their Zoom working. Everybody needs to start watching this. I know people don't even know where the link is posted. Do you? Yeah. Can you share some information on that? I don't really look for the link because I just go to the meeting, but you do. So tell us where people.
Yeah. If you wanna watch the live video feed of the commission meetings in Margate or the planning board meetings in Margate, they don't really post the direct link to the Zoom feed until the very day of the meeting. And they have told me, they claim that the reason why they only provide the link at the very last minute is because of some old wives' tale, because I think it's complete BS, that a couple years ago, somebody Zoom bombed a meeting. They might have done something inappropriate. What that really is a story of is lack of common sense on the city's part, that poor security on their part, because you can stop anybody in their tracks from saying something or providing audio or video that's inappropriate, because let's face facts. We could walk into a live meeting right there at Old City Hall, right across from the Wawa, and some guy could say something horrible or decide, I want to take my trousers off right now just for the hell of it. It's all going to be live. So they're just being overly cautious, and I believe that some people actually believed it, that's the reason why they can't do live video feeds of their meetings. In reality, they don't want to do it because they don't really want you to see them having discussions about money or pushing through a resolution or an ordinance that nobody understands or changing the Washington Avenue from one way to another way. It's as plain as that. Whenever we talk and you let me say whatever I want, I find that the viewership goes way up, Cher. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh, really? People don't like to listen to me, but they like to listen to you.
They like to hear me rant and rave.
Well, because now it's going to go down. I want to just spin it to a couple of positive things, though, that were discussed or that the city is doing.
Okay.
They are really embracing more green design and green infrastructure to some of their projects. The parking lot that was so controversial, per my persistence, I believe.
Give us an update. Give us an update on that parking lot that was the contaminated gas station at one time. The city of Margate, the taxpayers, they chipped in all those millions of dollars. And I think 99% of Margatians did not want that, but very few Margatians actually vote because Margate's made up of primarily second homeowners with no voting. Nonetheless, it's done. They already knocked down the gas station. They paved it over with some dirt and rocks and all that. And but the one thing I'm asking, Cher, maybe you can tell me. From what I understand, they said there was going to be a park-like setting there. And maybe you and I could maybe set a date sometime in the future to have our lunch there in the parking lot when the park-like setting is finally done. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that came up a lot with, why are we going to just pave this area? Let's make it nice. If you go by that parking lot now, and I do, if you put a parking, you're not going to have that many parking spots. I mean, as a green person, I think that's a great idea, but I don't know if that makes sense for the amount of money spent to get parking. So right now, the parking lot is all stone. And John Pitts, who's on the green team and the planning board, he said, why don't you leave it like that? I actually said, leave it like that. It's fine. It's pervious, meaning it allows water to drain through instead of sitting on the top of, asphalt. Yes, there you go. And I'm wondering, so it's a very efficient parking lot in terms of maximizing the number of spots, but they are going to pave it. And of course, I'm like, don't pave it with asphalt. Use pervious asphalt, which means the water can drain through. So they did tell me they are going to do that, which makes me very happy that at least they're looking at, pervious asphalt. And when I asked, why don't you leave it with the stone? They said, because it's hard to maintain the stone over time. It gets a little messy. It gets all over the place. Also want to say, I see cars parked there now, this time of year. I see a lot of cars there. I don't know if there are people that are working in Body Architects. They park there because Body Architects is right across the street from the post office. There's not parking. So yeah, so that's what came up with the parking lot. But they are moving ahead. I don't know if you and I will be able to sit and have lunch unless we sit on pervious asphalt.
Listen, all I know is they made it very clear it was going to be some parking and a park-like setting with some trees and a bench and all that. So I'm really looking forward to having lunch there with you. Maybe we can invite Mr. Collins to stop by. Maybe we'll grab something from Castle's or something. We'll enjoy our noontime at the park-like setting of the parking lot, the former contaminated gas station.
Wait, I just have one more thing, and then we could go into, I know you want to talk about all the construction in Margate, and being that I'm a local real estate agent, this should be the thing that excites me the most. But Veterans Day is next Tuesday, but next Sunday, there will be a celebration in Margate. It's at 3 p.m. on Jefferson and Amherst. And some of you may have noticed. If not, please take a look. There are these banners that went up to honor the veterans alive and dead from our area, to give honor to them. That was a project that was introduced by Jim Savio and his son-in-law, who actually will tell you, his son-in-law is a mayor out in Long Island, and he did this for his town. And I introduced his son-in-law to his daughter. So it's kind of personal to me. It's a great idea brought to Margate I'd say from an introduction I made that became, now he's like very influential in our Margate market. But yeah, definitely take a look at the banners. They were up on the Parkway and then they moved them to the Promenade. But November 9th at 3 p.m. on Amherst and Jefferson. Okay, let's talk real estate.
I'm not the realtor. I just sit here and push the buttons.
Okay, well, you don't have to be a realtor to know that there's so much construction going on our island. The first project, I think are we coming toward, what is this?
Listen, we're not going to run that video again because we just can't. So
no, it's fine. It was working fine.
All right, tell me what you want to talk about. Keep on going.
Let's do your video. Let's do the drone video and all of I love the drone video. It just shows so much.
You mean the video we just ran?
Yeah, the development. The one that starts the one on the right there. That starts on where Billy Ho's used to be. So that's where the old food truck was. And if you look to the right, you could see the parking lot, the Margate parking lot. You see, I don't know where a park's going to go if you don't get rid of parking spots.
Excuse me. No, it's called a park-like setting. Okay, park-like setting.
Well, that's not there anymore. They actually started breaking ground there. That's not there anymore. Yeah, there's just.
So real quick, why do you think they have a parking lot next to this big giant development, this mixed-use development on the site of the former burger truck? Why do you think you chipped in for that parking lot right next door?
I don't think it has to do with that development. I think it has to do, I thought a lot of people were saying it had to do with some of the restaurants and the stores that were in that part of town, that there wasn't parking. So
who do you think it benefits? Who do you think that parking lot benefits the most? The people that go to the beach?
You're not going to trap me into this. I know what you're doing. It's not working.
It's an honest question. Who does that parking lot with the park-like setting, who does that benefit the most?
Well, the people that want to go to the stores on that part of town.
So who does it benefit the most? The stores or the shoppers?
I actually think it benefits the shoppers. So, and I know there's a establishment.
And yes, it's true. I do try to put you on the spot often. Yes.
I know there's an establishment on that part of town that people suggested the parking was needed for that. You know what? If anything, the parking lot, I think until they start charging, benefits more the people that work in establishments in that area. Because like I said, I see a lot of cars there now. Okay, there's Billy, the old Billy Hose. Look at it. It's 2 levels now. That's old already. It's high. It's really high. And that first level is super high. It's probably 10, 12 feet high.
And it's a mixed use, so it's going to be condos up top, and then below it's going to be retail, right?
Yes.
Do you think there's a big enough demand for retail, that there's not enough retail space right now in Margate and Ventnor?
It's so funny you say that, because literally just last night when I was driving by and I was looking at it and I was looking at all that retail space and I was like, who's going there? You know, how are they going to be able to sustain themselves? However, on the other side of it, we got bigger and bigger houses coming with more and more people, and a lot of people like to shop. So maybe with all these big houses, more people. Okay, this project is the one by Amherst Avenue. It's the 6-unit townhomes. Yep, you can see it. It's really impressive. This one also is like 2 levels now. If you drive by now, you're like, whoa. You can really see it come together. 6 units. One apparently is under contract. There are still 5 more available in the $2 million range. So if you want to find out more, you can give me a call, and I'm happy to represent you as a buyer's agent.
Sure. I'm not a big fan. Shouldn't I just go directly to the listing agent? Might get a deal, right? Or should I get a buyer's agent? I'm always confused by that, because people ask me, should I get a buyer's agent? How do you respond when people say that?
If you want someone representing your interest and only your interest, then you would get a buyer's agent. If you want someone that's not going to represent your interest and is also representing the seller's interest, sure, go to the listing agent, but you're not going to be represented in the same manner.
Do you think the average home buyer and seller, do you think they understand the difference, the pros and cons of a buyer's agent or a dual agent, somebody representing both sides of a transaction? Do you think the average Joe understands that?
No, not at all. And even we're supposed to explain it every time we take someone out as a new client. We're supposed to sit there with something called consumer information statement, which explains it. They're supposed to sign it. When people do open houses, they're supposed to have signage up that states, I represent the seller. These are the other ways I can represent you and the seller. And I have to say, I mean, I had my sign up, when I was doing my open houses, when I do my open houses, but I don't see it a lot. Unfortunately, it really does need to be explained. It's very confusing to people. And now people are, they learn from the internet, but all they hear is, oh, I hear a change where buyers agents are paid by the buyers so sellers can make more money. Well, no, that's actually not going to happen, because buyers were always paying the fee, even though it came out from the seller's proceeds. Buyers paid the fee through their price. They have to pay a buyer's fee, and their price goes down. It's simple math. It's all net the same.
I have a quiz for you right now, a little pop quiz. You ready, Sherry Lilienfeld?
Oh my gosh, here's the pop quiz. Okay, hopefully I can answer your questions. And then I do have to go in a couple of minutes.
Oh, no. We're just getting started here. First-time home buyers, the age of first-time home buyers. Back in the 1970s, the first-time home buyers, the average age was about 29 years of age. Then we jump ahead to 1990. The average age of a first-time home buyer, still about 29. By the year 2000, it was 31. In the year 2020, the first-time home buyer, the average age, the median age, I should say, was 36. By 2024, the median age of a first-time home buyer was 38. And today, in 2025, it's an all-time high. The median age of a first-time home buyer in 2025 is 40 years of age. How does that affect your business in the real estate space? Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty, aka Sustainable Sherry.
Well, this isn't a big first-time home buyer area, so it doesn't affect this market, but obviously people,
But what if you wanted to have a whole bunch of families and you wanted to fill the schools up? We have 2 schools in Margate, and it's a great place to raise a family. But why did Margate give up on being an attractive place for young families to start a family here in the Down Beach area? What happened?
people wanted to build and they build big, and that raises the tax base. Is that what you're getting at? I know you want to get to the tax
No,
base.
I'm just wondering. Every time a mayor opens their mouth and says we're a community and a family-based town, their actions prove otherwise. They don't seem to be, because a couple of years ago, there was a mandate. Mayor Becker told the planning board, do something to retain families. Don't chase everybody out of here. Use zoning to protect neighborhoods. Every house is being torn down right now. You could be blocks and blocks away from the beach. Yeah, tear it down. Put a four-level McMansion. Back in the day, they wouldn't let that because they knew they needed what? They needed local employees to be able to find a place to live in their own town where they go to work. Right now, a lot of businesses, sustainable, a lot of businesses, they're retailers, and there's a lot of retail space. The number one complaint that they have is they can't find local employees. That's why
true.
That's why the taco truck or the bus, whatever it was called, for Taco Cat, right after Labor Day, they go, we got to close down because we can't find people to work. That's crazy. The most amazing place, the most amazing restaurant, and they had to shut down because they couldn't find employees. That is the problem of the mayor, Mr. Becker, Mr. Collins, and the planning board, who discussed the importance of retaining families and retaining a community that is somewhat affordable in portions of the town. But they go, nah, just tear it down because we can have a huge new assessment, more ratables. And that's my rant for the moment, Sherry, unless you want to tell me that there's other ulterior motives here.
No, and you're right about finding employees. It's big. I think that's why, not Smoky Dog. Oh, now I'm forgetting.
The taco place?
No.
Water Dog.
Water Dog.
Would you say Smoky?
Smoky Dog because he would smoke his fish. Right. Yeah. Water Dog.
So start again. So Water Dog Cafe. What a great, these are hugely popular places, delicious.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, both Water Dog and then, of course, we talk about the Taco Cat.
Yeah.
They had to shut down and go somewhere else. Why is that, Cher?
I believe they shut down. Well, first of all, the owner of Water Dog also owns Betty's Seafood. Mm-hmm. And he actually had a Water Dog, and I think in Bally's or one of the hotels.
Yeah.
And he closed that down. It just didn't do the same as it did here on the island. So that was brief. But I believe just because Betty's was doing so well in that location, maybe the profit margin's better there too. That part I don't know. But, you can't spread yourself too thin, no pun intended, about his schmears. You can't spell. It's just finding the employees and keeping it up and keeping quality. Yeah, so many people. Someone yesterday just told me, I can't believe that place shut down. I love that place. So I know so many people that just loved it. Yeah, but I think finding workers is really hard. And so you're getting these bigger and bigger houses with people that are transient, meaning they don't live here. They come here for the summer or whatever. But then you don't have the work pool to support it. It's a challenge.
What about that old restaurant eatery near Sack of Subs, right in between the movie theater and Sack of Subs? That's been sitting empty for about a year. That used to be a Mexican place. I kind of forget the name, but it's been sitting there as a commercial property. I don't know whether it's the real, I don't know if it's the agent not marketing it properly, but it's a spectacular location. Why can't they move that? I just think that anybody that's representing commercial space, they got to try a new plan, because whatever you're doing right now, whoever your real estate agent is for some of these properties, it ain't working. How long are you going to hang in there? What's going on?
Well, again, so you have to, as a business owner, you're going to look at your numbers. You're going to look at your numbers to either rent a place or buy a place. And, the food business, restaurant business is tough. You have to have a volume to make money in that business. It's really, really challenging. So, obviously, if you're selling a place that's set up for a restaurant, you can't overprice yourself out of anyone to afford to buy it and then sustain it. So anyway.
Is that all you got to say?
That's all she got. You like to switch us around. That's all she got.
All right. Anything else? The landscaping meeting. The landscaping meeting.
Yeah.
So let me just set the table here. So a couple of days ago, unbeknownst to a lot of us, there was a gathering, a meeting in Margate to have a sit down with local Margate landscapers. I assume it was because, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, Sherry, it was because of they're trying to talk them out of using gas-powered blowers, which are noisy and all this noxious fume everywhere. But I also thought the meeting should be, maybe we got to ask these landscapers, are you guys properly insured, and do you pay a mercantile fee? So what did happen, Sherry? You did go to that meeting, didn't you?
So a little bit of history here. Yes, gas-powered blowers. Anyone that spent any time in their home in Margate, you have heard them. You maybe were on a Zoom call and they're outside your house. They are loud. The guys that wear them have to have the ear things on. They're not safe. So yes, there's noise pollution, air pollution that's worse than a car. So one of the members from the Margate Green team is very actively pursuing banning them. Now, let's think about it. Have you ever watched them use these here in the town? They literally blow the leaves all around. Our lots are so small. Do you really need a gas blower? Do you really need a gas blower to blow these leaves around? It would be, in my opinion, more efficient to rake it and pick it up. So anyway, we've been pushing it, but and this was a good move by the mayor and council. The commissioners. They wanted to get the feedback from the landscapers before they said, you can't use this anymore.
And how did you find the landscapers, since Margate did admit they don't track or have a list of registered landscapers? How did you solve that problem?
So the Margate Green team compiled the list. We have a bunch of eyes and ears out there, and we had one person in the green team who was compiling all the information. We'd send the information, this is the landscaper. There were 60 people or so, 60 companies or so on that list, 60 for Margate. So they were all invited to this meeting to hear what they had to say and what their concerns were.
How many showed up?
About 20.
Out of 60. Out of 60.
Yeah, still a good number. Some
but 40, but 40 of them will not really care. And one more question, sustainable, because I'm always thinking about your welfare and your future luxury life with your beloved. But I think I kind of forgot. Oh, so did they talk? No, I know exactly what I wanted to say. Maybe. Why? Whose job? You are so beloved. You are so loving that you did the work for somebody else. So you chipped in and volunteered all your time. Margate couldn't find somebody to track that down themselves. You guys had to volunteer.
Well, I'm not going to comment. And there's a lot of us. And they can't hire one person, to drive around town for days? That actually doesn't make any sense.
Yes, to me, it should be that way. They should hire somebody to drive around, or maybe just maybe get Roger. Roger likes this kind of stuff. McLarnon, he has plenty of time on his hands. He would love to go to every single landscaper and track them down and speak Spanish at the same time, because I'm assuming some of them don't speak English.
Okay, you made your point. Let's wrap this up. So some of the landscapers came very well prepared. They had their numbers, what it would cost, because you have to change out these blowers for electric blowers. So there's a capital expenditure cost for them, and there's batteries, and they talked about charging the batteries and what it was going to cost and how long those batteries last and how many how many mows they do in a day. And one of them said, we're in and out of a house in 12 minutes. We do our mow in 12 minutes. You know, they were very specific. So we heard what they said.
So let me get this straight, Sustainable Sherry of eXp Realty. You're saying that the group of landscapers that do not have proof of insurance or do not have mercantile licenses and they're not registered, they're telling you how to run your town.
The ones who were talking were the big ones who are registered and have insurance. It wasn't the little ones. It was the big ones who do volumes of business and do things right.
Do the big ones, do the big landscapers that were a part of this meeting, do they like having to compete with all those little ones, best known as gypsies?
They did make mention that everyone should get licensed and insured. And because one of the points was, we do everything right, and this is going to affect us. The ones that don't register and don't do stuff right, they're going to be fine. It's going to affect us. And that makes sense.
What if all of a sudden you saw a big, giant landscaping squad come in right next to where you live, and they were doing their job, they're working hard, but you know, sometimes when you're running those gas-powered mowers, stuff shoot out, and it could break a window, could take an eye out, whatever. How are you going to get restitution? Because maybe the landscapers, they don't want to, me no speak English, who knows? Is that a good accent?
It's a good point. You know, you need rules and you need to be consistently enforcing your rules. And I think one of the other things is that Margate will start enforcing the registration and insurance.
But why just that particular job or that industry, landscaping? Why was that one selected as a carve out that didn't need to have registration, mercantile, and proof of insurance? You think proof of insurance would tell you exactly that these guys need to pay $100 a year and to prove who the hell you are, and you can work in the town.
Well, there is a law, but it wasn't enforced. So again, we're back to enforcement.
Who should be enforcing that? Would Sustainable Sherry pull together a team of enforcers?
No. Even with our construction pollution dust ordinance, they were very clear, like, we should not be approaching people for lots of reasons. Like, that's not our job.
No, I know.
Like, no, now maybe Sustainable Sherry Superhero could do it, but not this Sherry,
That's
Sherry right. eXp Realtor, mother of 4, resident of Margate. No. So anyway, so that's the update. I do got to skedaddle. It's almost 1:00. What, you're looking at the time? What, you don't like the word skedaddle?
No, there's probably other things that were discussed last night. So it was a good crowd last night, wasn't it?
It was a good crowd. I was very happy to see people. I do wish they'd get their Zoom working. Like, they need to figure this out. And all these
talk about our good friends Vaughn Reel. And he's married to a very lovely lady, is he not?
Margie Reel, yep. We have kids that went to school together when the classes were bigger here in Margate when I moved here.
Many times did you count on your hands how many times people got up to public comment and they suggested that the business administrator be shown the door? I mean, I heard that multiple times. How many times did you hear that?
I didn't count, and I will not. I didn't count, though. I don't know. They didn't say it quite that directly. They said it like they'd say, okay.
It's awkward. I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for Pax. I think Pat's actually trying to do his best, but he got selected to be the business administrator for a town that is like the wild, wild west and has so much cash and so much
wild, wild west and
the permitting. And I think my good friend Palma, you know that Palma and I are BFFs, right? In the construction office.
I love Palma. Palma's the head of our building department.
And I love her. I love her even more than you do, mainly because she gives the count of how many permits are being pulled.
Yes, I do want to say that. So
well, thank you for allowing me to try to say that and teach you something, because I'm a part-time realtor, or at least I play one on the internet. But Palma said, and of course she's one of my BFFs now because she's a superior construction person office, but she
Yeah.
said that year to date, Miss Lilienfeld, year to date,
Yep.
I think we're up 18% in
Yes.
permits.
She did say that, and I wrote it down. When I don't have stuff written in front of me, when I do this, I
Well,
forget.
I got
18% of building permits for the same time last year.
Well,
It
I
was
got some
620.
I got some homework for you. You have a pad and paper there to take this down,
Yeah,
please?
no, I do. I do.
No, one more question. One more question. Out of if it's an 18% jump year to date of permits being pulled for the city of Margate, do they split that up with just rehabs and then another list that is total demo rebuilds? Do we do that?
I have Oprah requested that in the past, but I can ask Palma if she does that when she runs her numbers. So, but
What do
maybe
you think? What do you think? Do you think they split it out? Because the bigger number sounds great, but I want to know how many are rehabs, how many are demos with rebuilds.
If I had to guess, they're like 95% rebuilds. I mean, just
Really?
look around. And most people, if they're doing a rehab, they're not pulling a permit unless,
Wait, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Are you saying that some people that do rehabs, they put a new kitchen in or something, that they don't always get a permit? That's not true in Margate. They enforce those ordinances. That's what I'm told.
No comment. All right, dear.
I want to do a show where it's nothing but you sit there, we tie you to your chair. You have it's like a Clockwork Orange. We open up your eyes and you must watch all the things I bring up on the screen, such as these are the things that Sherry Lilienfeld, whatever her name is, she hates when I bring these topics up. Like the whole time, I will force you to listen to me go down all the very uncomfortable facts about Margate and Ventnor and all that. Would you enjoy that?
It's like Chinese torture when you're dripping water on someone's face.
No, Clockwork Orange.
I'm going to throw the news at you. You gotta watch it.
Remember, Clockwork Orange, Rod, whatever his name is, they pinned open his eyes and they put eye drops in it and they forced him to watch violence. I would do kind of the same thing as you, but and force you to watch me discuss in detail all the very uncomfortable things that are discussed.
Corruption.
I didn't say that.
Force me to watch corruption. All right.
Well, good job, Sustainable, because you don't have to bring up the fact that Marty and LaQuetta Small are going to trial soon, right? Because Mr. Small just won. He's the mayor again. Everybody voted in Marty Small. How about that? Isn't that something?
I'm sick.
One more question.
Politics.
You have commercial experience in New York City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Do you hear stories where people who have businesses or are invested in commercial properties in New York now, with a new mayor coming to New York, are some people thinking twice about operating commercial businesses in New York City?
They're thinking twice about running and investing in multifamily properties. Multifamily properties are like apartment buildings because they feel there's going to be a little bit of an exodus of certain people leaving the city because they're just not comfortable there and they don't feel safe. So yeah, we are expecting a little bit of less demand for New York City real estate.
Would you like to be a realtor in New York City with the new mayor, Mr. Mondami, who likes the idea of rent freezes? Do you think that would be good for your real estate business, Sherry?
Well, if my clients were the people that built and developed, maintained affordable housing projects, and there are some very big developers who do, that's their business model, that would be different. So,
and just say hi to Lana Alexander, because she's always following everything that you does. Yes.
She was at the meeting. She's very vocal, but
what did she bring up? Because I couldn't hear it.
She's commenting. Yes, that building was sold. That was sold. It recently closed. Yes, that's why they're closing. Building was sold. Okay.
Did you tell Mayor Collins? Did you tell Mayor Collins last night that I send my warmest wishes to him?
No, I did not.
Did he like? Does he like
to the meetings?
Does he like? No, I have to be here in my studio, my command module, and make sure that stream is 100%. For the good of all Margatians.
Yeah.
Did Mayor Collins enjoy thoroughly enjoy the rendition or the renderings of Sustainable Sherry Superhero that we developed?
He got a laugh out of it. Listen, Mayor Collins is carrying the Sustainable Margate flag to the League of Municipalities meeting. It's coming up the end of this month. They have a resolutions committee. So the League of Municipalities are all the New Jersey League of Municipalities, NJLM, or all the municipalities in New Jersey. They get together and they talk about issues that affect municipalities. There's a committee called the Resolutions Committee. We asked Mayor Collins if he would represent our resolution for construction pollution and introduce it, be the sponsor of it to that committee for all of municipalities. He agreed. He's very enthusiastically representing us. And I'm very excited about that because, and also November 13th, there's supposed to be a draft bill introduced at the state level. So, but Mayor Collins is carrying our sustainability flag to the League of Municipalities. Thank you. You love my sustainability outfit. I'm going to show up for one of our podcasts in that. Just saying.
That's what I saw last night when I was trying to watch the live Zoom video.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
That's what we were watching. But are you going to actually go to a meeting somewhere in the near future as super sustainable Sherry? I think you should.
I am actually going to the League of Municipalities meeting as sustainable Sherry because we have a table. And when you do a trade show, you need something to draw people in to start a conversation.
You know, that really looks like you. It really does.
Younger version. But anyway, yes, I'm going to be wearing it to the League of Municipalities meeting to talk about our construction pollution ordinance. Margate was the first to receive that introduction. October 2023. It was 2 years ago already. Okay, well, thank you.
One more question. Are other
realtors? Said that 3 questions ago, but go ahead. You do this all the time. But
this is the most important one that means a lot to me. Are other realtors in Margate and Ventnor, are they jealous of your superhero powers as sustainable Sherry?
No, I don't.
You can be honest. I think deep down inside they go, "That is badass. That is awesome." Because most realtors have certain types of marketing, but sustainable Sherry, you're a different type of realtor.
That is true. I don't have a dog.
And why? Let me ask you this: Why should we talk about sustainable buildings, sustainable homes, and sustainability when we're talking about homes and construction? Why the hell would we do that, Miss Lilienfeld?
Because the reason people love Margate is they love the environment, they love the nature, they love the community, and they love their real estate values. So all of this is important to maintain our community, our lifestyle, our health, so we can enjoy this beautiful community. It's very tied in. Sustainability is tied in with the real estate market.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Sustainability.
So when you do something, you want to leave the environment equal or better than when you started. So like when you tear down trees for paper, that's not sustainable. You're affecting the environment in a negative way. But if you tore down trees but then planted twice as many, that would be actually considered sustainable. You have to leave the environment the same or better than how when you first approach whatever you're doing to it.
Could Margate and Ventnor do a better job of that?
Well, they're trying. They actually, I think, and again, this is why going to meetings is so important. I go to pretty much every meeting and I always address them on what they are doing for green infrastructure. Green infrastructure are things like recycling rainwater to do irrigation on our public parks, if we had any public parks, or like the library, for example.
Excuse me. We do have a public park. It just hasn't been built yet. It's the park-like setting at the gas station, a contaminated gas station lot. So don't be hating on this idea.
Okay, but Margate, to answer your question, Margate 100% could be doing better. I have been talking to them now about the flooding and the pervious space, and they listen to me. But on top of that, Ed Dennis, the company he works for, they support like hundreds. Well, I don't know. Like they support multiple municipalities.
Yeah.
So I said, and when I send Ed Dennis something, I said, Ed, you need to send this to your leadership because Margate can do what they're going to do, but we're a small island. But everybody needs to do their share. And
Ed Dennis is the engineer for Margate, and he's the engineer for a lot of other municipalities. He's finally saying, okay, this sustainable girl, she's making a lot of sense. I better follow through on some of this stuff.
He knows I'm not going away, and he agrees.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, you want these ideas to be top of mind when they're designing and when they're making recommendations to their clients who are municipalities. You want them to be making their recommendations on how to do things better and cleaner and with more long-term thought on the next generation and the generation after. You can't be short-sighted. So yeah, he definitely does. And I saw him the other night at a meeting, and of course I always make a beeline for him and talk to him, and he goes, nope, when I get your email, I forward it on to my boss also, and we need to think about this. So I do put stuff together and very thoughtfully send it to him with the idea that he will forward it on.
And one final question, Sherry Lilienfeld of EXP, do you promise to go to a meeting and to speak at public comment in Margate fully dressed as Sustainable Sherry superhero, wearing that outfit?
I will take it under maybe next Halloween. No, I will try. No. I will try.
You get dressed up as Wales, as Miss America, or the Statue of Liberty. Now, this is the outfit you should get dressed up all the time. And I'm telling you, if you walked up with the mask and you spoke at public comment, I just think not only would people smile, but they would probably say, this woman must be really serious to make an impact looking this way. Plus, it does work. You are saving us from ourselves, because if you don't save the world, if you don't save Margate, every square inch will have asphalt and concrete. And we're moving in that direction.
And microplastics.
Yeah.
I will take it under advisement. I'm working on it. Okay.
Look how great you look in that outfit. I just think you got to do that. Everybody agrees too. I get a lot of emails. People are calling me all the time saying, yes, I vote for Sustainable Sherry as a superhero.
Comment to say, would they support me if I wore that Sustainable Sherry superhero outfit to a meeting? I just want to know. Okay.
Oh, my good friend, my pickleball buddy, Beth Torsey, she gave it a thumbs up. She wants to learn more about sustainability and maybe becoming one of your sidekicks, superhero sidekick.
Okay. I could use a sidekick with my sustainable efforts. I'm going to get Steve Dezecki, the chair of our green team, an outfit. I don't know if he's going to do it, but we're going to try.
All right. Well, make sure that you send my best to Scott Abbott and Mayor Collins and my good friend. I have so many there at City Hall. I can't remember them all.
Okay. Well, you have a great day, and I will see you in a couple of weeks for our next podcast.
All right. Bye, everybody.